In 1996, Sega was in an interesting position. Its 16-bit Genesis platform was in its final days and its 32-bit ambitions had failed to be realized with the Saturn. Christmas was coming up and they wanted a Sonic product for both platforms. One was to send the Genesis off with a bang, and the other was to finally showcase the little blue blur on its current machine. Traveler's Tales had been working hard on Sonic 3D Blast for the Genesis, and things were going quite well. The problem was that development had gone horribly wrong for the Saturn project Sonic Extreme, and Sega knew there was no way they'd have anything close to a final product ready for a Christmas release. Sega was in pure desperation mode at this point, canceling Sonic Extreme and putting all their resources into porting the Genesis Sonic 3D Blast over to the Saturn. In just 7 short weeks, the game was ported, its visuals enhanced, and it was given a brand new soundtrack. Both the Genesis and Saturn products would make the holiday 1996 release schedule, but I had been of two very different opinions about these games. While one was a competent send-off to an aging and battle-worn platform, the other was a cop-out, a cash grab from a company desperately trying anything to save its failing reputation. In this episode, we will be looking at Sonic 3D Blast for the Sega Genesis and the Sega Saturn. Just how good was the game, and did it come anywhere close to being enough to satisfy the Sega faithful? Like the other 16-bit Sonic titles, 3D Blast isn't big on story. The evil Dr. Robotnik has discovered the secret of the Flickies and captures them to help him find the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic must destroy the robots and free the little guys and get them to safety. And this is the gameplay hook for the entire duration. Break enemies, free the Flicky, collect them, and then get them back to the giant gold ring so they can escape. That's it. You do get some items to help, like shields, extra lives, and the elusive Sonic Blast attack, a gold shield that allows you to attack enemies like a heat-seeking missile. Of course, there are plenty of rings to collect just like Sonic's other adventures, and just like before, they can keep you alive and earn you more lives the more you get. The Chaos Emeralds are here, but the special areas to collect them work a little bit differently. Hidden throughout the various zones, you must find Knuckles or Tails. They guard the entrance and you must pay them 50 rings before they'll take you to the bonus level. It's here that you'll find one of the major differences between the Genesis and Saturn versions of the game. In the Genesis, you get a pseudo 3D vertically scrolling track that is lined with spikes you must avoid to collect the rings. The Saturn version has a Sonic 2 style half-pipe that must be navigated for the same result. Other than that, the stage and enemy design is virtually unchanged between the two versions. Where you find the Flickies, the bad guys, the bosses, and the items are all the same. What works in one will work in the other. Sonic 3D Blast on the Genesis isn't a bad looking title at all. The 3D sprites are modeled well and the environment has a fair bit of detail. The shield transparencies are beautiful and the animation on every sprite is really impressive for 7-year-old 16-bit hardware. The transition to the Saturn is much less impressive, however. While there are numerous upgrades, it's just not an impressive showing on a 2D powerhouse like the Saturn. You get more color, more animations in the environment, and better special effects like fog and snow, but otherwise it still looks like a game from the previous generation. This was Sonic's very first Saturn game, so the expectations were off the charts, and this was the best Sega could do. To make matters worse, things that should have been impressive like transparent water were still mesh textures here. This is a 2D engine, man. If you're gonna make a 2D engine on the Saturn, lavish us with special effects from the gods. Don't fill it with the shit we regularly saw in 3D games of the day. And those 3D bonus stages were simply a smack in the face. They were developed by Sonic Team and honestly, feel about as tacked on as anything else here. This screams, hey Sega fans, we couldn't make you a fully 3D Sonic game, so instead we'll leave you with this bite-sized piece of what could have been. Look, You can love Sonic 3D Blast, you can defend its existence on the Saturn, but I don't care how you paint it, this was a joke as far as Saturn visuals are concerned. Sega charged us full price for a Genesis port after completely failing to deliver Sonic Extreme. It's a shit show, plain and simple. Despite what I just said, I really enjoyed the music between these two games immensely. The Genesis version was composed by Sega veterans that had worked on previous Sonic titles, as well as hits like Dragon Force and Shinobi 3. The Saturn version was done by the guy that did Shinobi X and Daytona USA Championship Circuit Edition. They both captured a really nice feel of the old and new. Here are a few examples of each one. Before I say another word, I want to be clear I am not a fan of isometric platformers. I have all kinds of trouble hitting enemies and doing what I want to do. So in that context, I was never gonna love Sonic 3D Blast. It's the kind of game I tire of quickly, and the hook of chasing down Flickies just isn't something that is gonna make me come back for more. With that said, I do believe this is a great children's title. It's extremely easy to play, movement is responsive, objectives are easy to obtain, and it's visually appealing. I can certainly understand why some of you would have appreciated it back then and likely have fond memories of it now. On the subject of the Saturn version, I am much less forgiving. I'd even say I'm combative when the subject comes up. Sega overpromised and underdelivered, plain and simple. A Sonic should have been on Saturn day one, and it should have been a visual showpiece that made people want to own the hardware. This last-minute 7-week port was Sega's attempt to save face, and it was anything but. I will concede that these expectations are perhaps unfair to lay at the feet of this title, but this is the Sonic game Sega gave us. After 2 years on the market, this is the best they could do for us. It was not enough. The Genesis game had been different enough from its predecessors that you could at least justify its existence. but to port that Genesis version and give 32-bit owners such a similar experience cannot be forgiven, at least not by me. I can tolerate it as a 16-bit final hurrah for the series on the Genesis, but as the first and only exclusive Sonic platformer on the Saturn, you have to be freaking kidding me. As I've said before, expectation is a hell of a thing when it comes to the stuff you are really looking forward to. While I can give credit to a Genesis game and understand its appeal, my utter disgust for the way it ended up on the Saturn makes my enjoyment of it a complicated mess. And I want to be clear, I am not the type of Sega fan that believes Sonic was gonna cure all of the Saturn's ailments. Even if Sega had Sonic ready for the US and European launches and it had been an excellent title, I still feel Sony would have handily defeated Sega. But this is just salt in the wound, man, plain and simple. It was too little, too late, and a smack in the face to Saturn owners that had been wanting a real Sonic. This was not the game I wanted. All this does is genuinely have me wondering if Sega was willing to make Sonic a 2D game for the Saturn, why didn't they go full bore and make him artistically stunning as something like Astal or Rayman? Of course, I also want to stress that should you not share in my expectations, playing Sonic 3D Blast in 2021 isn't the worst thing ever. The Genesis version is easy on the eyes and the gameplay is a breeze to pick up and play. My daughter even says it's a great game. Hell, even on the Saturn, there are much worse isometric action titles you can get into. The conflict I feel here is an old bitterness born from the expectations that the Saturn deserved more. And while I wish I could say I've gotten over those old feelings, they are still as fresh as they were all those years ago. I'm Sega Lord X, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next time.